Hello guys from Seward, Alaska. Hope you're having a great day. I'm Ben, this is Rebecca, and we are Hisandhersvlogs. Today's video is going to be a fun one as we discuss why we switched from RVing to overlanding.
That's right. And before we start the video, we would be remiss if we did not plug our website here. So www.hisandhershub.com. If you haven't been over there, be sure to check it out. We offer a lot more education, content, interaction. It's pretty cool. We've been working on it for over a year now.
Yeah, it's coming together nicely.
It is.
So we don't put too much stock in this game of hashtags and labels, but since this video is being published on social media, we are going to play the game for you.
Yeah, we kind of just think everybody is a traveler.
Exactly. So let's start square one. What is overlanding? Per Overland Journal, which is a very authoritative website on the field.
Overlanding is a self-reliant adventure travel to remote destinations where the journey is the primary goal. Typically, but not exclusively, accommodated by mechanized off-highway capable transport, where the principal form of lodging is camping. Often lasting for extended lengths of time and often spanning international borders. Overlanding sees the journey as the purpose. It goes on to talk more about world travel, but the modern interpretation seems to be more about 4x4 off-roading while camping and less about global journeys.
It's a very well-written definition.
I'm actually super impressed by that.
Believe it or not, there is not a formal definition of RVing like there is for overlanding. So we took a little influence of overland journals and made our own. What is RVing?
RVing is traveling in a self-contained vehicle or towed trailer to destinations for recreation and or part of a greater journey, including long-term and international travel. Primarily done on road systems with varying capabilities for driving off-road. Generally larger and less maneuverable vehicles designed for the purpose of being comfortable while at your destination.
So what's the difference between the two? Yeah, they are similar, but yet different. They both involve vehicles, recreation, camping, travel. Come on now. There's no reason that one can't go hand in hand with the other.
No. And I will say it's possible to combine the two if you have the option. Tow something that is overland capable behind something that is really comfortable to sleep in.
Exactly, like a big old motorhome towing a Jeep or a Tacoma or any other vehicle for that matter. Yeah. But now that you know the definitions, let's talk about the vehicles.
RVs are built for comfort and leisure at your campsite, while overlanders are built for camping and for handling a wide range of on- and off-road conditions, including traveling abroad. There are vehicles that cross over and offer the benefits of both styles. Slide-in truck campers and other trucks like our Fuso are perfect examples.
All right, let's bust some common misconceptions about the vehicles. First off, RVing does not only mean paved roads, and overlanding does not only mean dirt roads. We have proven that one, time and time again, because there's no way you can avoid the pavement, and we've gone down some pretty fun dirt roads in the big old motorhome.
I also think that you have to point out that not all overlanding has to be done in a four-wheel drive vehicle. I don't really think that you could tell somebody who drove the Pan American Highway in a two-wheel drive truck or a motorcycle or a VW bus that, well, gee, you didn't overland.
That one does not hold any water, guys.
Really doesn't.
All right, so now that we have addressed the vehicles, let's get on to the people.
This one I think is really important, and something that could bring people together a little bit more is that overlanders and RVers actually have a lot in common. Both like to get out and go camping. Both would rather be out camping than at home. Both involve trucks a lot of times or some type of commercial grade chassis. Probably most important, both have a sense of adventure.
You know, you also got to think a traveler is a traveler. Some have broader horizons. Some have different objectives to their travel. There is nothing wrong with either. It's just different strokes for different folks.
Totally agree.
So now that we've established there are some differences in the vehicles, but really not that many differences in the people, let's get into the journey.
And this might be where the biggest differences lie. Our philosophy tends to be that overlanding is a long journey, usually involving long distances, driving or riding, and typically international.
And RVing is camping in vehicles designed for leisure and higher levels of comfort. Generally speaking, it's limited to developed countries though.
Like we alluded to a little bit earlier, this is kind of where modern trends, philosophies, and hashtags tend to have differing opinions.
We could really care less about the interpretation of the labels. I think it's great to see people out having fun instead of glued to the television watching the news or on their smartphones. It's just wasted time.
Doesn't really matter how you do it as long as you're out there doing what you love.
Exactly.
So let's get into what we talked about this video actually being about. Why did we switch from RVing to overlanding?
Was it us?
I don't know.
Two key things here, folks. Firstly, RVing was nothing more than a means of traveling for extended periods of time with our dogs, and it fed our travel bug on a daily basis. And secondly, Alaska heavily influenced us as RVers.
Aside from our childhood RVing experiences, we learned to RV in Alaska as adults. So being way out there was what we were accustomed to. We had 5 to 7 months every year where we spent...
It was not winter.
No, It wasn't winter, and we essentially spent the whole time exploring Alaska.
Yeah.
That changed when we went to the lower 48 and full-timed, but that's how we got started.
Well, if you're not already familiar, RV life is completely different in Alaska. We never played cornhole. The only RV park stays were when Rebecca had quarterly meetings in Anchorage. There's tons of open land when you get out of the towns and cities, and you literally can camp just about anywhere. It's all boondocking. That's all we've ever known, so that there was never any anxiety over that. Literally, when you go to the campgrounds, all you get is a vault toilet and a hand well pump.
The second thing you have to think about in Alaska is the distance. We're talking like grand scale here. Our trips usually were at least 1,000 miles, and we're only covering a tiny portion of the state. So we had a really different perception of going away for the weekend.
Exactly. The weather, that's also a huge factor.
Yeah.
You know, tent camping is great, but if you're tent camping for extended periods of time in Alaska, it wears on you.
Be wet.
Yeah, you're going to be wet. It's cold. It's rainy up here, so that's where a self-contained unit was very desirable for.
Played a huge role in our decision.
Exactly.
The other thing about recreational camping in Alaska, not just for us, but most people, is that usually it's focused around hunting or fishing and harvesting from the land to prepare for winter. That is truly a part of our lifestyle up here. Subsistence living is extremely important. And of course it was fun, but it was also always this grand adventure and usually a lot of hard work. The RV was definitely more of a base camp for long-term camping, and then we would tow a trailer with our side-by-side and kayaks to be able to go exploring.
So I think it was us the entire time. We've always had a wilder side and a thirst for adventure, and the travel bug just isn't being fed anymore in North America, so we need to up the ante.
Yeah, and getting back to that, is it the RV lifestyle question? Well, no, because basically if you let us travel, no matter what the form, we're going to be happy campers.
Exactly.
No pun intended. But on the flip side, yes, because we're not getting enough of the adventure we're really hungry for at this point.
Now, summing people up with Overlander and RVer labels gets surprisingly messy because there's full-time RV life and weekend and vacation RV life. There's living in an RV that rarely or never moves, and then there's an RV that you're traveling in and it never stops moving.
I guess when you get down to it, the point is they're all uniquely different, but they have one commonality, an RV. The great thing about this lifestyle is you can carve it out to be whatever you want it to be, and amazingly enough, the journey will put the right people in your path.
It's also no surprise, but all these same little micro clicks exist in the overlanding lifestyle as well, between the folks that are out for weekends and the folks that are on a long journey. It's just human behavior. In our full-time RV travels around the lower 48, we've noticed another critical difference in the people. There's folks that want to get away from it all, and then there's folks who want to duplicate home life, but on the road.
We have a saying up here in Alaska I think could probably be applied to this conversation as well. We always talk about people moving to Alaska either as running away from something or running towards something. And I think that when you meet people out on the road, you find that the same is true.
So wrapping things up for lifestyle, yes and no. It was and it wasn't us. We've made some amazing connections, lifetime friends, priceless memories that we cherish every single day of our life. So yeah, we love the traveling lifestyle. Now let's get into the vehicles.
Gotta be honest here. For us, we were feeling very restricted with our big old Class A Nelly. It took us to some great places, probably because we aren't afraid of driving on dirt roads, but that's the Alaskan in us. And speaking of Alaska, we were pretty tired of having to leave the state in September to ensure at least a less eventful passage down south for the winter.
And fortunately, this is a non-issue now because our 4x4 Fuso chassis is combined with a well-insulated and heater camper box. So all I can say is bring it, Alaska winter, because we are ready.
Denny's seriously a game changer.
There was a common theme forming. We would find all these amazing campsites that we wanted to go to, but the big old Class A motorhome couldn't get to them, and it was getting horribly painful.
Truly was. Now, as the saying goes from Back to the Future, where we're going, we don't need roads.
And it is very liberating.
It really is. We don't have to worry about what the road conditions are. We don't have to worry about what the weather conditions are. Honestly, I find myself to be a much more relaxed traveler these days because of Denny.
Like we mentioned earlier, our next big adventure is going to be overseas, and that requires a very specific vehicle.
Luckily, I think we can mark that one off of our to-do list. The Fuso has everything: ground clearance, turning radius, overall length, i.e. short, and mechanics to go around the world.
In full-time travel, there's basic needs that just make your life easier. And it's a lot of the same stuff that you have in your house, and when you're on the road every single day, it matters. Refrigerator, toilet, shower, table, seats, bed, sink, electricity, and combining it with a 4x4 chassis gave us an RV that can literally take us anywhere.
So yes, the vehicle played a huge role in our decision. But when you really get down to the bottom line, I'm not sure how much it actually matters. Every single one of the vehicles that we've talked about today is recreational in some form or another.
So here's the lowdown. We have carved out our own little hybrid version of RVing and overlanding to get the best of both worlds. We are very happy with the overlanding aspects of the lifestyle because being closer to nature is absolutely amazing.
I think we both agree in the RV, we kind of lost that love and feeling with camping. And these days we enjoy being a few degrees closer to the good old-fashioned camping that we have fond memories of.
Yeah, we have cooked outside and made more campfires in our first year of overlanding than we did in all of our years of RVing, and it feels absolutely great.
Well, Ben gave you the lowdown, so I'm going to give you the bottom line. Nothing about Ben and Rebecca has changed. We are travelers at heart, and all we're doing is staying true to ourselves.
I feel like we've improved upon the lifestyle that we enjoy the most and are coming into our own as travelers.
Agreed. I think we're realizing things like the only rules we have to live by are the ones we set ourselves. It's proven to be pretty liberating. You realize you don't have to fit within the confines of a label. You take what you deem to be the best part, put it all together to make it the life you want to have. There's no limits, and the world is yours. So you have to allow yourself the room to learn, change, and evolve.
Well, yes, our channel is going to take an adventurous new overlanding tone because having a 4x4 motorhome has literally opened up a whole new world to us.
One question maybe you're asking, is it really going to be that different from RVing? And I would say probably not. We're still camping in a vehicle. We're still traveling. Now we just have access to a lot more beautiful locations.
And when we head overseas, think of it more as like a spicier, dirtier form of RVing. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us on this video from our studio in Seward, Alaska. We're enjoying just downloading all this information to you guys. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can follow our adventures. We are actually, in 2 days, we're heading off to Nome, Alaska to go hit the dirt roads and do some exploring out there in this, like very old gold rush
Oh yeah, the
region.
history there is
and
crazy.
It's absolutely amazing. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next one.